growing up on KTSY and Christian music through you guys, it was very home-like. I'm 25th, dang, I'm 22. I caught you guys at a good point.
There's so much opportunity here in prison for fear and doubt. When I feel overwhelmed, I can just put on my headset and listen to the music. When it's hard to focus, I can just focus on those words instead.
Oh, to tell you my story is to tell of him.
I went to college and got a college education, you know, like my parents encouraged me to do, and I met a man and I got married and I had a really good career and I became a prescription drug addict.
Last July, it was actually the 2nd, is when I came back to Boise. I got into partying so much deeper because all of my friends lived here and they introduced me to a wide range of things that I had never submitted myself to. And in that range of things, I lost myself.
Eventually, my family no longer wanted to be part of my life. I could no longer see my daughter. She was removed from having any kind of visitation with me. And I just reached the darkest point in my addiction where I just completely gave up on everything, and I truly felt that there was just never any hope for me.
I denied a lot. Like, God had a lot of messages, and especially through my mom. My mom saw what I was going through and tried to help me and pull me out and tell me, you know, what me submitting myself to boys and to drugs and to drinking and partying and, you know, being free, as the youth would put it, you know, free to do what you want in your 20s. Like, that's what my friends told me, and that was such a mind blocker to have your friends tell you all the time, it's okay, you're 21, that's what you're supposed to do, these are memories. Like, if we were in college right now, what do you think we'd be doing? Like, you don't study in college, of course not. You get drunk. Like, it was really bad, and I was really lost.
By the time I ended up in jail, I had lost everything I ever had in my life that ever meant anything. I ended up alone, actually in solitary confinement in county jail, because I was so suicidal that was where they decided to put me. And I thought that if I ever landed up in a prison cell or in jail, it would just be the end of me, that I'd never be able to survive it, that I'd go insane or I'd have to commit suicide or something like that, and it was the opposite. I went to prison and I just suddenly felt incredibly free.
One night, I was driving to a party. So my mom actually didn't want me to go to the party. I refused and was like, no, Mom, I know my life, I'm okay. And I got in the car, her car actually, like, I was a disrespectful little turd. Like, I don't know what got over me, but I was not what I needed to be. But well, the way that I treated my mom, actually, I was thinking about that in the car, and I was like halfway to the party, and I turned on the radio, and it was on KTSY, and I was like, oh, no. Like, you guys are good, but I'm trying to get some things done right now that don't include God. And I switched it. I don't know how, I don't know why, but it got back to KTSY, and it wasn't like it got back to KTSY and people were talking. It's like it switched, and all of a sudden that song by Plum, you know, I Need You Now. The song came on and I started crying, like my soul started crying and I started crying, and I pulled over and I was like belting with you guys on the radio and was just, you know, screaming like, God, I need you now. And I didn't end up going to that party. I turned around and I went home and I reevaluated my life.
And I went to the prison, the women's prison in Boise, Idaho, and I decided that I wanted to listen to the Christian radio stations because I thought that would be a way that I could learn more about being close to Jesus. And well, the first station that I turned to was KTSY. This is my journal, and I tried to write in it every day. I thought, well, I'll mark all the pages with a sticky note where I've mentioned the music that I heard on the radio station, and it was a lot. I mean, it was, honestly, I ran out of time. I didn't mark them all. And that's how many times the songs that I heard meant something to me in such a special and poignant way that I actually felt compelled to have to write it down. Was a song called Healing Begins by 10th Avenue North. And the words in that song are very specific, and then it talks, the exact phrase is, "This is where the healing begins." And I was sitting in prison on a bunk in a very dark and desperate place, and I heard the words in my ears that this is where my healing was going to begin. That was really, I just took it from a very literal standpoint, and it was such, I don't know, just a turning point in my perception on what was happening in my life, because I realized that that is where my healing was going to begin. And so like this one says, "I've been listening to 89.5 KTSY since I got here 2 months ago. I've never listened to another station since. The Christian music has had such an impact on me. There's so much opportunity here in prison for fear and doubt. When I feel overwhelmed, I can just put on my headset and listen to the music. When it's hard to focus, I can just focus on those words instead."
This is where the healing begins. This is where the healing starts.
I still cry when I listen to Need You Now. It's still a very touching, like that moment was a very, very hard moment and a very opening eye moment. And it was a blessing. God tried a few different ways to tell me, open your eyes. He tried a few ways to tell me, like, you know, you need to be on the right track. And he did it through you guys. Like, you guys saved my life.
The value cannot be put into words. What this music and this ministry and this station has done for me cannot ever be truly expressed by me. I can't tell you how grateful I am and how grateful I continue to be. And everybody here has become my family to me, because once I just opened up to them about why I was here and what had happened to me, and I was willing to just share and talk about it, I mean, they instantly just took me under their wing, and they've made me a regular volunteer, and they even decided that they liked my testimony to the point that they wanted me to be on the air. I have a key to the door, and I have the combination to the security system, and I get to go in and use thousands of dollars worth of technical equipment, and I'm a 3-time convicted felon that could be in prison for 14 years of my life, but instead I get to be here witnessing and sharing my story, and you know, and part of that, my testimony, is this radio station, and this radio station is taking that message and giving it to other people. And so that's why I'm here. That's how I ended up here.